Hello, hello. Welcome to today's podcast. Yes. First, happy Merry Christmas to you. Whatever it is that you celebrate, whatever holiday that you celebrate, or even if you don't, I still want to wish you a really amazing season and day. And if you're listening to this, just know that we have 5 days left of 2025. Isn't that crazy? 5 days left. Excuse me. You want to know something interesting? Here's some fun facts I learned yesterday. 12/25/25. You ready for a fun fact? That date sequence only comes around every century. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that interesting? So 2025, that means 100 years from yesterday. In 2125, 12/25/25. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So if you're still listening to this podcast a century from today, just so you know, I lived a really good life. Okay. And now I pray that you are living a really, really good life the way that you want through a reclamation, without performance, without beating yourself up, without the hustle, without the driving into the wall or the ground just to get something out there. I was having a beautiful conversation with my friend. Then I got to thinking about my own life and what I'm building. I am building a massive movement, a reclamation movement, a movement that partners with high performers, high achievers, also know, AKA career professionals, business professionals, leaders. You call yourself a leader, you're leading a team, whether that's in management or you have a business of your own and you have a team of people. Yeah. Business owners, leading is essential. My thing is, this is what I teach my clients, is this. It comes from the top. And this is also how I know what I'm sharing with you right now resonates, is because my husband and I got a new car the day after my birthday. So March 18th. My birthday is March 17th. Okay. So the day after my birthday, we got a new car. Now I love this car. It's beautiful. It's exactly what I envisioned. It's exactly what I wanted. It has all the bells and whistles. The only thing I believe it doesn't have is a stove, right? I mean, how cool would that be? I could make lunch while I'm driving. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here. By the way, if this is your first time here, please let me know where you are tuning in from. I love to connect with amazing individuals. And so I've seen where a lot of the listeners listen in from, and it's like the UK, Europe, a lot of other places too. So it's pretty cool. Okay, Illinois. Hello, hello. Welcome. And so, when we start, oh yes, so we bought the car, right? Bells and whistles, has everything on it. I love it. It still smells new. I still treat it like it's the throne room. It's clean. It's beautiful, right? And then I was talking with the guy that was selling our car. We got to talking about what we do, and I got to share with him. And I was like, well, I partner with, leaders and business owners and career professionals, and I lead them to operate in an empowering way, and they let go of burnout and stop performing, and they're able to lead with energy, confidence. And then I said, could you imagine if leaders of every area, like in every establishment, if they had the energy to lead their team without burning their team out? It starts at the top. And he was like agreeing. He was like nodding his head. And then he's like, yeah. It does start from the top. And he was totally in agreement. And then he asked me one of the most amazing questions, which definitely planted the seed. He said, "Do you go into jobs yet?" And I said, "Not yet, but thank you for planting that seed, sir." So I have a feeling that if I had said, yes, I go into jobs, he would have been like, let me go talk to my manager, be right back, right? I don't think I would have been able to sell the manager if, on my business that day, because anytime you go to get a new car, let me just put it this way, pack a lunch, okay? Just pack a lunch. Just trust me, okay? Or ask them, hey, can you order us some pizza or something, right? Because you're going to need it. And bring water, bring a beverage because you're going to get thirsty. Okay. But then that's how they get you. It's how they sell you extra stuff because you're tired and your brain is dried up because you're thirsty. Okay. And hungry. So I share that because a lot of what we do, right, it stems from the top, right? The building, the doing, the leading. And so if we ourselves as a leader, you don't always need a leadership title, right? But in this case, leader energy, it stems from us. So if we're burned out, if we're frazzled, if we're in a negative energetic space, guess who else is going to be? Yeah, your team. And I don't care how great of a manager, I don't care how great of a leader, business owner, boss anyone is. It literally comes from the top. So today I'm talking about building your vision and your dream. And yes, we all have one. Okay. Gift. We all have gifts. Building our vision and dream without the hustle, without the performance. Yes, that too. Yes. Building a team that works towards the same goal. And the same purpose. Yes. And if the manager is like fried crispy, have you ever have you ever been in a business meeting and we've seen movies, right? You've seen the movies where the business owner is like frazzled, and it's like, how can they meet a goal if they can't even if they can't even function without their fifth cup of espresso? Just saying. And then it's like, good luck keeping up. You need roller skates. But yes. And today, the hustle, it's there, right? The performance when we build something, when we have a dream and a vision. And I was talking with my friend today, and I said, I was telling her what I am sharing with you today in this podcast episode is that when I have gone to build my dreams and the vision that I've had, the training that I have received is one that puts me into a high performance and a state of hustle that has burned me out. Now, here's the thing. I am not trashing my past leaders. I am not trashing my, past mentors or current mentors or anyone. As we grow, I'm going to say a little side note. As we grow and heal, right, from any past traumas, etc., we start noticing where we have traded our peace, our energy, our confidence for hustle, burnout, low energy. We forget to eat. We're fueled on caffeine and supplements. Yes. If you are a high performer and high achiever just like me, I am talking to you today. Yes. But don't worry. It's not a let me beat you over the head with what not to do. No, 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 no. None of that. So what I've learned before is if I have a dream and a vision to build something, just like, for example, with my podcast, I am building a massive movement. So it's not just my podcast that amazing people come and listen to. And you want to hear something interesting, something totally cool, is that I'm celebrating and I'm thanking you for showing up and listening and downloading my stuff. 228 or 29 downloads within 90 days. I am not kidding. In the last 90 days, since the end of September, And now it is almost the end of December. 229 downloads, 28, 29. Hello? Is that even heard of? I don't know. But I don't take that for granted. Because for me, building a mass movement takes time. I'm also healing from a viral infection, so I cannot go into full, like, let's go, raw, let's build this, right? I've got to build it slowly. So if Rome literally was not built in a day, like if you've been to Rome or you've seen the pictures, like, didn't just happen overnight, right? Then why do we put so much pressure on ourselves to get things built in a short amount of time? Why do we put demands and expectations on ourselves to drive ourselves into burnout, to overperform? Thank you. Thank you so much for stopping in. This will be you can come back and listen to this at any given time you desire. So why is it we put so much pressure on ourselves to get something out there when we actually have time? By the way, all the big people that created something like KFC, the iPhone, right? They were not 25 years old. Sure, they might have started, their journey when they were like 25, right? But even watching one of my new favorite shows is called Landman. I love it. It's a show it's in Texas. It's with some cool actors, some actors that have been in other movies and other shows. And it's about the oil industry and I'm talking billionaires. It's like you see billionaires in this show and it totally creates a whole different outlook on what it's really like to build something. You also see the pressure that a lot of, like billionaires put themselves under, right? There's some pressure, right, that they face and it's shown in the show, but also they have this drive that keeps them going. And some of them, it took them a long time to build. Now, you can see that the people in the show are not 25. They might be 25. Well, actually, the son, who I think is in his early 20s, just has started building something with the oil industry. So anyway, if you're in stocks, it might be a good idea to get into oil. Don't take my word for it. You do the research, okay? Research it. I'm not a stocks expert, okay? Even though I do stocks, I'm not here to discuss that. Anyway, so building something takes time, and it's not meant to be forced, and it's not meant to put us in a hustle, but we have this unspoken messaging out there and we see what other people are doing and they are in such a high performance state that they burn themselves out by trying to build. And I used to do that. I used to burn myself out trying to build something because the way that I grew up, growing up my entire life before I was one until after I graduated high school in foster care, I was put in a cycle of performance since birth. I had to perform for love. I had to perform to keep myself physically safe. I had to hustle to make sure that I looked the part, that I was smart enough. I had to prove myself over and over again. I had many adults coming at me, telling me I was one thing, telling me I was this, putting labels on me, telling me that I was all this stuff that I wasn't. And I believed them. And what did it do? It caused me to go straight into hustle and performance mode. So that costed me a lot of time, energy, peace, costed me my confidence because I carried the belief that I wasn't smart or capable my whole life. So I proved myself. Now that didn't come to me by myself. That came because there were adults who had no business being foster parents in the first place or social workers including therapists that I was forced to see. That was because before I was 7, I had to keep myself safe physically from abuse, emotional, religious, physical. It was not a very fun, safe experience for me. But here's what I can say. When we go through some healing, or when you listen to some random chick that you've never listened to, or maybe you're an OG, right? Thank you for being OG on my podcast. Or maybe you've heard something similar like this before, and then it catches your ear and you're like, wow, there's something that's being spoken here that I can't quite figure out and put my hand on or finger on as to why this is landing and resonating. Now, I believe, and this is my belief, that there comes a point in our life, no matter how old we are, no matter what age we are, that there comes a point in our life that when we listen to something, it is because, and we hear it, and even if it's for the first time and it lands and it resonates and it speaks to us and it brings about an awareness that we've never had before, it is because our souls and our spirits and we're at. Have you ever been so excited to say something and you just sound like that? It's like, oh my gosh. Like if I was on a stage, I would honestly be doing the same thing. Oh, we should have a bloopers show. Okay. So there comes a point though where when we hear something like this, we're like, oh, and the light is turned on in a great way. I am not here to bring shame or guilt on anyone. So if you're starting to feel that, please put your hand on your heart and give yourself some grace and compassion for what you did not know. By the way, I might sound young, but I'm not as young as a lot of people might think, right? So I've lived a life of hustle and burnout and performance, and I didn't like it. And I finally figured this out 4 years ago. Well, almost 5. Shoot, about 5 years ago. I paid my first high ticket mastermind thing, hired a mentor, hired a coach. Beautiful, beautiful thing. It was the first time in my life that I heard the words, you have permission to break away and just be. Now, when I heard that, my soul, like my spirit, resonated. Like, girl, did you just hear that? Like, we've been waiting to hear that. We have never been given permission to rest, not in the church, not in foster homes. What? I had this belief I had to work 6 days a week and go to school full time, thought I wanted to be a nurse. Anyway, didn't get into nursing, but I am in the medical field, been there for over 3 decades in the career field. And so the 7th day, instead of spending that day to rest, I gave all of my time and energy to the church for like a long time. For over 20 years, I did that because I didn't know better. Because I didn't know that staying in exhaust mode wasn't the way to go. Because that's not what I was taught. So up until about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, at the age of 42, 43, I learned that, Tiffany, you have permission to stop hustling. You have permission to stop performing. You have permission to just literally sit and just be. Don't gulp your coffee. Drink it slowly. Oh, okay. Go buy something to decorate your home to anchor in your decision of your yes. Okay, so I did. I still have the mug that I bought to anchor in. It's a reminder of my decision to stop hustling and break free. Building this dream of mine, right? Which is starting with my podcast and speaking. And I have the receipts, I have a track record. I have clients that have come to me in a frazzled state, and their transformation to become this beautiful, energized person that now has the confidence to set boundaries and put themselves first. They stopped hustling. They They looked at their routines and they're like, oh, this doesn't feel so good anymore. I'm burnt out. They looked tired. Their faces were gray. And then throughout the coaching, their color returned to their face. I'm not kidding. Their color returned to their faces. They sounded less stressed. They sounded less unhappy. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining the room. Thank you, thank you. They sounded, within the first call, they went from being burned out and frazzled to by the end of the coaching, they were putting themselves first. Their vision started happening of what they wanted for their life. Now they're living the same flow the way that they want. Because why? Because they flipped the tables. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you hire a coach or a mentor, or myself, I am a professional hype girl. Whenever you hire people like us, okay, and if you're a coach or a mentor, so when people come to you, I am like, let me put it this way. I'm not responsible for the results my clients get. They are. But I share that with like pride because it wasn't me who did it for them. They chose to do the work. They showed up. They wanted it. They wanted to be there. They wanted the reclamation, and they have it. Now they you want to know something cool? Now they set boundaries to preserve their energy. They even give themselves a day off of doing nothing on their couch. I'm like, what? You mean to tell me what? And you couldn't do this before? Isn't that interesting? So I share that because if it took me, and I'm 47, almost 47 years to get the permission slip that I needed to not continue to burn myself out and stay in hustle or performance mode, that is why I bring it to you here in my podcast. Now, as I mentioned, I am building a massive movement. So yes, it is starting with my podcast. But I have one other way that you can have more access to me per se. It is through a downloadable resource. It's called the Burnout Rebellion Starter Kit. Yes, it is where you get to start your rebellion, walking in a reclamation and letting go of the burnout and the hustle and the flow, right? That's put us in a burnout state. And it's giving you tips to reclaim parts of your life to get your energy back so that you can walk in that reclamation so that you can like get your pep back, right? Pep in your step, like John Travolta in or the whatever. You can put put the pep to a song, Staying Alive, okay? I forget what movie that is. Well, anyway, it's like a 70s movie or something. So anyway, you get your pep back. You now walk to the beat of your own drum because you're saying no to a life of burnout. And you will literally walk away within the first 10 minutes with tips to implement immediately. And it's not a podcast because podcast is free, but the next way for you to continue having direct access to me is to run and grab that Burnout Rebellion Starter Kit. It's only $10. Lifetime access. It's yours to keep, to download to your favorite device. Now, here's what I do ask and recommend, that should you decide to go get that, you cannot, like, don't give it away. If you want, buy one and give it away. Okay? Buy one for someone as a Christmas gift. I don't care if Christmas is over. Think of it as your New Year's resolution. Because going into 2026 in the same cycle of performance and burnout, low energy, not putting yourself first, not putting your vision first, trying to build something out of hustle, right? What is that? There's songs that say, I'm a hustler, baby. No, I'm not. Hustle is like slavery. That's just, So in my world, we ditch hustle. We ditch the burnout. We ditch the slavery. We ditch the performance improving because we cannot lead the life we want energetically if we're just stuck in that. So go and get the Burnout Rebellion Starter Kit. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you so you can grab that today. Okay? It's only $10. You're welcome. Consider it my gift to you. And you know what? You are the best gift to invest in anyway. Okay? I mean, why not spend the money you got on from Christmas on yourself, right? And so thank you so much for being here today. By the way, if you're new to my show, I want to say welcome. I see some new folks that just stopped in here, and I want to say thank you so much for coming by the studio. It is my honor that you are here. Thank you. And if you feel inclined, please type in the comments where you are tuning in from, listening in, because I am connecting with some amazing people from like all over the world. And it's totally cool. How cool is it that this dream of mine to build something so massive is reaching people in other countries, other states? How cool is that? Isn't that cool how we are connected by something that, like, I think of all the decades where we didn't have these contraptions called a cell phone. Zimbabwe. That's totally cool. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Now, if you look, you'll see there's a fan club button. Feel free to join that if you feel inclined. Also, there was something else. And please don't forget to click follow. By the way, if you're just now coming on, please go back and listen to this from the beginning and share this with some friends. Yes, have a listening party. And while you're listening, just know that I am cheering you on in your journey as well. So yes, so thank you so much for being here. And like I said, I'll put the link for the Burnout Rebellion Starter Kit in the description notes for you. And, oh, like the podcast? Yes, you can go back and listen to the podcast. It's also, when you go to the fan club, you get instant access to new downloads as well, in case you don't want to go back through the whole podcast menu. And so that's where you can get direct access to that. That gives you just, it's kind of like it's kind of like a VIP room, right? So you have that option. But yes, my podcasts are saved. This will be uploaded shortly after I wrap this up. So yes. So thank you so much and welcome. So glad you're here, and stay tuned for